Guys, do you know there's a Gaza ceasefire? We've already taken a look at the 21-point plan that Trump has in proposal. Honestly, it's like, what happens if we just put back in Lord Balfour in the region of Palestina? Like, unironically, like they're proposing fucking Tony Blair to be the governor of fucking Gaza, dude. In this like stupid board shit that Trump is proposing to basically try to rebuild the fucking Gaza Strip. Like I've said before, this rebuilding, this ceasefire, which who the fuck knows if it's going to even hold, given the Israelis' sort of proclivities to just want to bomb the ever living fuck out of the Palestinians. But then then again, if the Israelis actually do decide to continue the fucking bombing, I think it's going to be pretty much lights out for them. Like, I don't think that might even be a bridge too far for Trump at that point, where he's just like, okay, listen, I literally tried to do everything possible for you to get the war to end, yet you still aren't ending it, Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. And I have no idea what he could possibly do. But we took a look through the 21-point plan. It's bad. It's not good. It's basically like, Palestinians, you need to sublimate yourselves and become more or less a fucking second-class fucking citizen, and be okay with whatever military occupation that we're going to do with fucking Tony Blair, the new Balfour of our time. But what is this? A powerful message in response to Hamas's statement regarding this peace plan. Why don't we take a look?
I want to thank the countries that helped me put this together. Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is
I really do not believe for even 3 seconds that the countries mentioned there would want Tony fucking Blair as, like, governor of Gaza, dude. But okay, bro.
a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents because they're.
I wonder why they might be in those conditions, Trump. I couldn't possibly think of anything. It couldn't be anything to do with Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel constantly bombing the fuck out of them. No, it couldn't be that at all.
Their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented, but thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East.
Are they, though? Are they, though? One particular belligerent on this side of this war, quote-unquote, that being Israel, of course, don't seem very interested at all whatsoever. I'm going to say this again. The day after the attack on October 7th happened, Hamas already was trying to negotiate with Israel. It's like, okay, can we have a peace negotiation? All we want is we'll give you back all the fucking hostages. We'll do a hostage exchange. We'll acknowledge, like, we'll try to coexist with you, but we're not going to recognize you as a state. And we just want you to leave us the fuck alone. And Israel rejected it and started to do the fucking bombing campaign. Because overall, again, for Benjamin Netanyahu, the point is the ethnic cleansing. He just wants to fucking kill people. That's it.
And we're very close to achieving that.
So close.
Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
I'm gonna treat everyone so fair. Despite the fact that you're just willing to impose, like, essentially I don't know, a board of governors from on high. These are people that the Palestinians never voted for, never wanted, and you're putting fucking Tony Blair in, for fuck's sake. But what do we have here? I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of the peace plan. If I recall correctly, basically this peace plan is very similar to that of what the Biden administration held, where there's just going to be a bunch of phases, where first off, they're going to bring back all the hostages in exchange of the fucking hostages, like an actual stop of the hostilities. A bit of a problem with that, though, Trump. The Knesset in Israel has to still certify the ceasefire. The thing with Bezalel, Smotrich, and Itamar Ben-Gvir in reaction to this said like, yeah, we're not affirming this fucking ceasefire. Fuck that, absolutely not. And those guys, that's the finance minister and the Ministry of Defense, basically saying like, yeah, fuck that. We actually don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Gonna be kind of a problem potentially for the ceasefire if those two fucking complete freaks decide not to go ahead with that. But I believe that didn't Israel also bomb a bunch of people today? What? Israel bombing Gaza after ceasefire. Didn't they do that? Yeah, Gaza bombed amid Israel's ceasefire agreement. They're still fucking bombing the fuck out of them, and this is footage that came out today. So again, the ceasefire was apparently there's supposed to be a fucking ceasefire. Yeah, ceasefire, by the way. But you know, they still have to approve of this in the fucking Knesset. I know there was a bunch of Palestinians cheering that it's like, oh my god, finally there's a ceasefire. And now they're still getting fucking bombed to shit. It gives a little bit of a mixed signal there. I know that Trump might not. I'm not gonna be too happy about that, Israel, because you're doing this dishonestly. I'm gonna have to fucking do something about that. What is he going to do about it ultimately? Who the fuck really knows? But apparently there's been a ceasefire. I don't know if Israel got the fucking memo though. Apparently, that's cool. This means that all hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. Really? Really? I don't think so. It doesn't say anything in there about shelling and fucking continuing to drop bombs on people, because we all know how weaselly Israel can tend to be with the terms and fucking conditions. Very, very much. Because, I mean, if it leads to the murder of more and more Palestinians, they don't give a shit about any of that stuff. They don't care. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world. Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America, and we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. And I guess technically speaking, this is the first war that Trump has ever stopped. The first one stopped. We'll see if the ceasefire actually holds. I mean, given the fact that Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir were just like, yeah, we're not gonna fucking acknowledge this ceasefire. Fuck that bullshit. And it still has to be basically made official within the Israeli Knesset. We'll see if Benjamin Netanyahu actually decides to hold up his end of the bargain and actually lets that fucking pass through. Because I have a slight feeling, just in my gut, that it's not gonna fucking happen. Because again, if that ceasefire were to actually go through and the War Council is stopped, and more than likely, Benjamin Netanyahu's government is going to collapse. And what does that mean? We've talked about this before. And the only reason why Benjamin Netanyahu is being as aggressive with the bombing of all of his neighbors and the Palestinians as he is right now is because he needs to maintain the war cabinet for as long as possible in order to basically have those corruption charges that are currently swirling around him kept at bay, because he's still in power as the prime minister of Israel. And he wants to because he's pretty much guilty to all rights. When he actually goes to trial for that stuff, he's probably going to be convicted and be under arrest. So he's trying to do everything possible to fucking avoid that like the plague. But, why don't we take a bit of a look here in terms of the approval ratings? Because the overwhelming amount of people who sympathize more with the Palestinians, the Overton window on this issue has had an astronomical shift. Again, Israel was broadly regarded as a bit of a third rail, a very safe issue for politicians to, generally speaking, be in support of Israel, because seemingly either it was a minority of people who made a big stink about let's be honest here, what's going on to the Palestinians, and it was the more majority position that they agree with the Israelis, obviously because of a lot of propaganda, blah 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 blah. We all know about the whole sort of propaganda machine that's operated by all of these different groups paying influencers in order to spread propaganda about Israel to for the benefit of fucking Israel, shit like that. The Overton window shifting in the way that it has in the past couple of years, like 2 years, is astronomical. This is unheard of for most political issues. But what do we have here?
Yeah, this
From
war
Harry
caused a
Enden.
historic shift in public opinion on how Americans view the Middle East conflict. What are we talking about here? Who voters sympathize more with, the Israelis or the Palestinians? Back in October of 2023, it was the Israelis by 48 points. Look at this shift. Now we're talking about the Palestinians by a point. I looked back.
Currently, the current approval rating in the Democratic Party of the actions of Israel is at about 8 or 9%, I believe. It is at an astronomical fucking low. So if anyone in the Democratic Party has half a fucking brain, you drop Israel. Like, if you want to even think about having a victory within politics, but then again, knowing the Democratic establishment and the Democratic Party at large, they're not going to drop Israel because they're demons. Yeah, because they're demons or something. And wholeheartedly uninterested, seemingly, in ever winning elections ever again. To be expected of the Democratic Party.
Back at every single poll that I could possibly find since this question was first asked in the 1980s. This is the first time ever in which the Palestinians had any sort of lead on this particular question. It is very clear that this war caused a historic shift away from the Israeli position.
Guys, Israel, this is your lawyer speaking. You guys need to keep posting TikToks of you driving around in tanks in the neighborhoods of fucking Gaza, just randomly shooting off fucking tank rounds. That's going to be a very, very good idea for you guys to do. It's so fucking goofy, man.
In the Middle East conflict and towards the Palestinians when it comes to who Americans and voters sympathize with. This, of course, was led by Democrats, because what are we talking about? We went from Democrats favoring the Israelis by 26 points to the Palestinians by 46 points. That is a shift, John, quick math in my head, of over 70 percentage points. But overall, the first time ever in which more Americans sympathize with the Palestinians over the Israelis. Truly a historic shift.
It's a big shift overall, a big shift within the Democratic Party. What about Republicans?
Yeah, it's not just Democrats, though, in which
it's
we have
also
seen
young
a real
Republicans.
shift of opinion. Even within the Republican ranks, this war has caused real division. What are we talking about? Well, we often talk about by age within the Democratic Party, but what about...
Damn, that's crazy. And you want to know what's leading this mostly? I mean, it's mostly like the fucking Nazi, dumb fuck conspiratorial crowd. We all know about the popularity that Fuentes, Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson has been gaining significantly in renewed prominence, I would say, simply due to the fact that they are talking about the Zionists within Israel. In reality, we know what they really mean by Zionists. They are talking about the conflation between Jews and Zionists, saying that because it's merely being born out of a hatred of Judaism and Jews as a category, as a people. There is no principle in terms of Palestinian emancipation when the far right talks about wanting to see Palestine be free. In reality, for these conspiracy mongers and white nationalists, for them, it's all about pushing... Well, honestly, like, Fourth Reich fucking talking points, like blood libel, whatever conspiracy theory you can, like, conjure up in your brain about the Jews, like, that's what it's all about for them in reality. It's about the hatred of Jews. And, again, Benjamin Netanyahu has no problem really playing into that whatsoever, because he understands that the more and more that people hate Jews, the more and more they're going to want to move to Israel, the more and more he can, create a fucking Jewish ethno-state. Because in reality, for Benjamin Netanyahu, that is what he wants. But here's the thing with that. It's going to have a bit of a backfire effect, because this is currently, by the way, what the backfire is. Because everyone seemingly just fucking hates the guts of Benjamin Netanyahu. They just fucking hate him. They've had enough with the fucking bombing of people, like, seeing just children get murdered on, like, social media and all this shit. By the way, part of the reason for as to why TikTok even got banned to begin with within the United States of America is because of people posting about fucking Israel, being like, yeah, so these guys are just constantly bombing Palestinians and are starving children and women and families and just killing them constantly. This this is kind of bad. Also, the IDF themselves were also not really helping their case there. There's like literally videos of people in the IDF being the homes of Palestinian families, just like, I don't know, just like gallivanting about and having like a good time, like wearing like women's underwear on their fucking heads, for fuck's sake. It was so fucking goofy, man. It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Why would you do that? Like, you guys are not ingratiating yourselves to the population that you need wholeheartedly to be on your fucking side so you can have your continued existence as a state. What the fuck are you guys doing? But then again, like, the point for these people is the fucking genocide overall.
By age within the Republican ranks, who Republicans sympathize more with. You see a massive, huge age divide. Those 50 and over, what we see amongst Republicans is they sympathize more with the Israelis by 66 points. But look at the voters under the age of 50. They do sympathize with the Israelis, but just by 25 points. We're talking about a 40-point difference, with the youngest Republicans being far more sympathetic to the Palestinian position than older Republicans are.
That's a huge gap right there. Let's just say that.
That is a huge gap, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Republican Party adjusts going forward.
All right, the news of the ceasefire deal, the possible return of all Israel.
Again, like I said before, it's all anti-Semitism for these people. That's why. That's purely what it is.
Israeli hostages. What's likely to be the reaction to that?
Yeah, I think Americans are really going to like it. And why do I say that? Because just look at the polling. A permanent Israeli-Hamas ceasefire, that is negotiating one. Highly important. That is extremely or very important. 51% of Americans. And then you see somewhat important, 31%. Over 80% of Americans said the idea of negotiating a ceasefire, a permanent one, was at least somewhat important. So the bottom line is I think a lot of Americans are really going to like this.
They want this over. Harry,
Yes.
and really interesting number.
That is true. They are probably going to like this. But again, like we all know with Israel, they are not honest actors. Period. End of story. They literally just bombed Palestinians just not that long ago. Like, it's crazy. So after serious and responsible negotiations in Sharm el-Sheikh over President Trump's proposal, Hamas has announced a comprehensive agreement that includes ending the war in Gaza, opening 5 crossings for humanitarian aid. These are tentative things. We aren't 100% certain as to like what exactly is going on, but tentatively. Again, like, you can't trust the Israelis under any fucking circumstance. Like I mentioned earlier, Bezalel, Smotrich, and Itamar Ben-Gvir said they're not fucking going to respect the ceasefire, and they'll still continue the attacks on Palestinians in Gaza anyways. Like, they don't really give much of a shit about any of this stuff. Like, for them, they are genocidal fucking freaks. The question is, again, what is Benjamin Netanyahu going to do, and what's the Knesset going to do? Are they going to make this fucking official? Because, again, like I said before, the reason as to why Benjamin Netanyahu allowed the war to continue and kept going with the war and maintained the war council as much as he did is simply due to the fact that he has corruption charges swirling around him. He knows that, well, if I let these corruption charges go through, going to be pretty bad for me because, the government's going to basically have an election. It's going to have an election. That's what's going to happen because his coalition is already very fraught and is about to fray simply due to his actions that he's been taking in general, not only in the Middle East, but also specifically in fucking Gaza, because these Israeli people are also sick and tired of the fact that they do not want to have, like, Benjamin Netanyahu continually bombing more and more and more over and over and over again. Like, they've had enough. It's war fatigue, like, unironically. And it's one of those situations where it's just like, well, I have to keep my coalition together, but I also have to appeal to the people. The question is what is Netanyahu going to do? Like, that's ultimately the fucking question. Because in reality, Netanyahu also doesn't want the ceasefire. He wants to continue bombing Palestinian children and babies. He has no problems with turning them into mulch. He doesn't give a fuck about any of this stuff. Like, he's okay with the fucking genocide. So you can't trust him. He's not a trustworthy source. Even when ceasefires happened, he continued bombing of Palestinians. So, again, he is not an honest actor. You can't believe anything that he says. And he is wholeheartedly, totally okay with the continuation of bombing of people. If it meant, like, yeah, you know, if I can kill a couple extra Palestinians, that's no problem. So, of course, also the releasing of the Israeli captives in the first phase. Hamas praised the efforts of mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey, as well as President Trump's role in ending the war, ensuring the Israeli army's withdrawal. They call on all guarantor parties, along with Arab, Islamic, and international states, to hold Israel accountable for fully implementing the agreement without delay or evasion. Yeah, that's a big question mark. Like, that is very, very much so up in the air, because again, like, Israel just like started bombing people again, like even after this got fucking announced. Like, I have no idea if they're willing to do this. I don't know. Like, we'll have to just wait and see. Also hailed the steadfastness and heroic stance of the Palestinian people in Gaza, Jerusalem, the West Bank, and beyond, emphasizing that their sacrifices will not be in vain and that national rights will be upheld until freedom, independence, and self-determination are achieved. Yeah, I'm skeptical of that as well, because Hamas is also not great. They will use people's deaths as propaganda props as well, very, very consistently. Like, when I say there's like really no good side in any of this stuff, there is no good side. There is one side that is bad, and there is one side that is significantly worse. Like, Hamas is not great in particular, but you know, hopefully like the ceasefire ends up holding. But again, like I said before, you can't trust the Israelis. So sense of relief across the Middle East and beyond over the news that a ceasefire in Gaza is finally within sight is palpable. Of course, we have a bunch of Palestinians fucking celebrating this, which is nice. The initial phase of the agreement is predicted on all living Israeli hostages being released within 72 hours of the start of a ceasefire. Again, the Knesset themselves have not officially recognized the ceasefire, so technically speaking, they are still at war and the bombings are still happening. Who knows if that's going to happen? Because again, like, it's one of those situations where it's just like, if Benjamin Netanyahu continues the bombing, I think he's just wallahi cooked. It's over. Like, he's just going to, like, unironically, I think like the country will just go into open revolt and just try to fucking depose him, like, somehow. Like, if he continues with the fucking bombing, who really knows, to be honest. Release of the bodies of another 28 may take more time. 250 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails would also be released, along with 1,700 Gazans held by Israel during the war. By the way, some of those people were also children. So Israel also kidnapped a bunch of children and put them in fucking military prisons for some fucking reason, because again, like I said before, the people who head the state of Israel are complete fucking demons. You can't fucking trust them. They are wretches. They are miserable fucking wretches. And again, like I said before, it is just ethnic cleansing and genocide. That's the whole point of what they're doing, specifically in Gaza. They want to take over the territory for themselves. It is also expected that desperately needed aid would really ought to start flowing in. U.S. President Donald Trump has claimed the agreement, drawn from his original 20-point plan, well, that's also similar to Joe Biden's, but whatever, has the potential to bring what he called eternal peace. Don't really think so. The systems of apartheid and the solution of just putting in a board of governors in place with him at the head is basically not undoing any of the current structures that have helped maintain the apartheid system that is currently going on within Israel. That structure is overall still in place. Who is to say that it's inevitably not going to start up another fucking conflict? We have no idea. Because again, Palestinian emancipation and rights are not really being guaranteed in that 20-point peace plan. Not at all whatsoever. They're not allowed to participate, broadly speaking. So the structure of the apartheid is still currently in place. Like, it's not, like, again, it's not that I'm saying it's a bad thing that there's a ceasefire. Like, it's a good thing that there's finally been a fucking ceasefire. What I am saying is that it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last. Like, period, end of story. Like, there is going to be, like, more war eventually, because again, like I said before, the sort of, because the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, is basically like an enforcer for the Israelis. He's wholeheartedly captured by them. There's no way, because eventually there's going to be another fucking conflict. Who knows what exactly it's going to cause the conflict, but what I'm saying is that it's not going to fucking last, because it's the Palestinian Authority that are the main people that are going to help provide the governance, along with this like board of governors slate under Tony Blair. I suppose it's like a transitionary state for when the PA does eventually fucking take over. It's not going to it's really not going to end up well because, again, they're not popular. PA is not popular. They're not stopping any of these settlements that are going on illegally in the fucking West Bank. So it's just like, dog, this is not going to fucking work out. It's going to fucking collapse, like, eventually. It might take like a year or two, but I don't see that this is going to do really much of anything. But the plan is one of broad strokes, with many key details yet to be filled in on the most intractable of issues. Yeah, like I said before, the ceasefire deal is rather half-baked. And it's just... Because we all know Trump just wants to have, like, Trump Gaza and have, like, statues of himself in fucking Gaza and have, like, Gaza essentially become, like, to be quite honest, just, like, real estate for fucking billionaires to play with. Like, let's be honest here. That includes the extent to which Israeli troops will withdraw from Gaza and when. Hamas has insisted on full withdrawal and sought guarantees from the United States that it won't allow Israel to restart the war once the hostages have been released. It's also unclear if Hamas has agreed to disarm as per Israel's demand, and if so, how the decommissioning process would work. Yeah, like, in the original plan, they did not fucking specify. They just said, like, Hamas is gonna disarm. And by the way, that 20-point peace plan, the Israelis, not the Israelis, but the Palestinians and Hamas had no idea at all whatsoever that this is, like, the peace plan that was going to go in. So, again, the fact that they're agreeing to this, which I'm surprised by, is kind of interesting to me. Like, you're telling me that this half-baked fucking plan, like, you guys are going to agree with this? Like, you have no reason to want to agree to any of this stuff. Like, one of your delegations got bombed by fucking Israel. Like, it's... I don't know, man. Like, I have no idea if this is really going to play out like these people think it's going to play. I don't, like, I'm just not seeing it, dude. Because, again, the fundamental systems are still in place. The apartheid is still going to be there, even when the fucking Israelis are going to leave and go back to whatever demarcation zone and pull back and try to withdraw from the strip. And so it's just like, I don't think this is really going to work out at all. Or very well whatsoever. I'm very fucking suspicious of this, I'll be quite honest. The Trump plan calls for a board of peace to be headed by himself with the help from former Prime Minister Tony Blair. Again, literal, like, Lord Balfour type vibe is going on here. It's actually fucking insane that they have put in Tony fucking Blair, the literal George Bush of the UK. It's like, oh yeah, man, totally. Like, people are going to be such a big fan of Tony fucking Blair being there. Very, very cool. Yeah, man held in contempt by many Palestinians, which is why I'm saying, like, this is not going to fucking work, man. There's no way. No one likes fucking Tony Blair, dude. Also mention of an international security force of some kind, but it's unclear which countries would participate. I assume it's probably going to be the Saudis, Jordanians, Egyptians, probably. Maybe the Turks. Maybe the Turks. I'm not sure, though. I don't think the U.S. is going to be in there, but I don't. There's no fucking shot that's happening. Wording of the original Trump plan also punts the issue of Palestinian statehood. Yep, no mention of Palestinian statehood, because again, if you want this, like, they're still going to be a part of the state of Israel, and the apartheid structure is currently in place, like, still there. And so it's just like, this is not gonna fucking work out. Like, I really don't think it's gonna work out as well as these motherfuckers think it will. Like, I don't think so. A key demand for the Palestinians and the Arab countries that have brought pressure to bear on Hamas to accept the initial deal far into the future. Maybe, like, Israel's going to, because far into the future, I'm not sure exactly what that means for Palestinian statehood if it does get guaranteed with the ceasefire far into the future. What's to stop the Israelis to just accepting the deal, because apparently they have accepted the deal, letting it stay in place for like a year or two, and then just restarting up the bombing after like a year or two to try to get like the media and like I don't know, build up, curry some fucking kind of favor again with the broader West, and then start the attacks all over again. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, I don't think so, man. It's a little weird, a little sus. It suggests that when Gaza's redevelopment has advanced and reform of the Palestinian Authority has been undertaken, the conditions may be in place for a credible pathway to Palestinian statehood, which is recognized as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. I don't fucking think so. It's not. This is not great. Obviously, we already know about It's definitely not fucking enough. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I don't disagree with that, but this is not gonna fucking work out well, man. So obviously we know about Yitzhak Rabin and the Oslo Accords, how that was just a massive fucking failure. Key to resolving them will be the sustained interest and, if needed, pressure from the international community, with the particular attention from the U.S. and key Middle Eastern nations. I don't know if Trump's gonna fucking do the pressure, you know? I don't know. Like, I don't think so, man. I think he's, like, if Benjamin Netanyahu gets into his ear and speaks, like, a certain, I don't know, nicety in there, it's just, like, he might just backstab the fucking Palestinians. I mean, he's done this before with the Kurds. He's backstabbed the Kurds. Like, I just don't trust him, dude. In an interview with CBC News last week, commenting on the overall Trump plan, longtime Palestinian politician Mustafa Barghouti said the agreement is not a good one for his people in the long term. But he also said he couldn't counsel against accepting it, given its potential to end immediate suffering in Gaza. And that's the essential catch-22 right there. It's like, well, I mean, is this going to end the bombing and the genocide? I mean, maybe. So we kind of have to take the risk there and just hope that it ends up working out. Because, like I said before, the Israelis are not an honest actor in any of this. They can't be fucking trusted under any fucking circumstance. So, I don't know, to allow them to be the main ones, like, to try to, I don't know, be the main arbiters of trying to agree to this, it's just like, yeah, I don't know about that one. You can't fucking trust them, man. You can't trust the Israelis. There's no reason to fucking trust them. They have snubbed fucking ceasefire attempts before and continued bombing even when the ceasefire was in place. So you can't trust them. You can't trust them at all whatsoever. This plan, the most important thing about it is that it negates completely the idea of ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians in Gaza, he said. That's all positive, but it's not enough. There are other points in this agreement that have to be negotiated. And if history has anything to go by, the longer that takes, the greater the potential for parties to run out the clock until talks are declared a failure. That's what I'm thinking. That's what Israel's going to do. They're going to fucking delay. Try to seem like they're negotiating in good faith. And in reality, try to delay until, like, time runs out and they can start the bombing again. That's what's going to fucking happen. But yeah, like, I guess tentatively speaking, there's a ceasefire. Great. But Israel also just bombed people today. So that's cool. Thank you, Israel. Fantastic. Excellent. So, like I said before, that original 20-piece point peace plan is a really, really bad plan. It's very half-baked. It essentially wants the Palestinians to just sublimate themselves to the state of Israel. And it's just like, okay, man. Like, this is just complete fucking dog shit. It's not going to fucking work out like these people seemingly think it will. And because I have no trust or belief in the state of Israel whatsoever to try to uphold their end of the bargain. Because they've done this before. Ceasefires have been proposed before, and they just started bombing again anyways. So, it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't trust them. I don't trust Israel in any of this whatsoever because they can't be fucking trusted. These people cannot be fucking trusted. So, like, again, I don't know, like, really what else is there to say besides this is a tentative fucking ceasefire. It's good that I suppose that it exists, but I have no confidence in the side of Israel in particular that they're going to act honestly in terms of, well, maintaining this sort of tentative peace and ceasefire that's currently happening right now in Gaza. So I have I have very, very little faith that this is going to end up working out for, well, Trump and the rest of the partners here, because Israel is not to be trusted whatsoever. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.